Hi, my name is Darlene Dotson, and this is your Destiny of Truth for the new moon on March 13th. Okay, depending where you're at, is going to dictate the time of this new moon. Um, but there's a few aspects we need to talk to about because where the new moon um, says we can be creative, okay, in our life. It's a new beginning with boundaries, okay, because of the limits that are imposed upon us. Because, first off, we've got the sun conjunct the moon, conjunct Neptune, conjunct Venus. They're all in a conjunction together, and they sextile Pluto. And Pluto, if you're on the East Coast, falls in the 12th house. So this is our mind has got to transform in order. We have to transform on the deepest level in order to bring that creative forward to the forefront. We do have that new beginning, though, and it's going to be an emotional new beginning. And to start that off, we have got Saturn trine Mars. Now, with Saturn trine Mars, it's time for you to take action, okay? And it's going to be a hard task that you've got to undertake because someone else is trying. They want you to do something else. They don't want you to do what you want to do, but you're going to have to stand your ground. And I mean, because if you want to continue to live under somebody else's rules, somebody else's thumb, then continue on the way you are. But if you want to change the structures around you, now being a trine, you are going to overcome this easy, okay? Or you can let it go by and not do nothing, and you'll continue to live under somebody else's thumb. But if you take action against the structures that are trying to hold you back, then you're going to move forward in a positive way and you're going to overcome that. Now, the next aspect we've got is Saturn squaring Uranus, and there is tension there naturally with the square. And it's all because the structures don't want change. Now, you could be the one who doesn't want change, or they could be the one who doesn't want change. They want to remain the same, but change has to happen, okay? It has to. And on the East Coast, Uranus is on the second, in our second house of finances, ethics, morals. So that change has got to come in our finances, in our ethics, in our morals, what we value, okay? Because Saturn's in the 12th house, and that's not an easy house, but it's, the structures that are within need to go bye-bye, okay? You can't, you've got to change who you are. It's, again, identity, okay? And to me, identity is an evolving thing. It never stays the same, but we hold on to it like, no, this is who I am. No, look at yourself. You're not the same person you were a year ago. Identity is always evolving. The quickest way past a conflict is to look at your own self and to see where you can change in order to better your life, okay? And I mean, pretty much the conflict that you're going to be asked to get over is within. Now, we also have Pluto semi-square Mercury. There is going to be a confrontation. And it's going to be because, we have to have that transformation. And the transformation's got to come at the deepest level of ourself. And people are going to voice, how they're feeling. They're going to voice what's going on. And they could also be depressed because Mercury is falling right on the ascendant with this, new moon in, this new moon is happening, but on the East Coast. Pretty much on the West Coast too, but Europe, I'm not sure about. Okay, but I do know that for this new moon, it is on the ascendant here on the East Coast. And that means we've got to confront our depression, or we've got to confront our thoughts, or we've got to confront how we talk to others, okay, in order to transform ourselves at a deep level. Because nothing's going to change if we don't look at who we are. Then we have another semi-square, okay, between Jupiter is going to be, Jupiter is a semi-square between Venus and Neptune. And Jupiter is going to expand the illusions that we have about our lives, whether that be money or love. He is going to expand those illusions. Now he could also be expanding your creativity. That would be a good way in using that Jupiter, Venus, Neptune. But for most people, it's going to expand, the illusions of love or money that they have, because Jupiter is in, again, the 12th house. And it's at the most private part of us when it's in the 12th house. So it's an expanding of the mind, or an expanding your intuition, or expanding your creativity. But it's a square. So you're going to have to overcome, the issues of money or the illusions that you have. And again, we have got Venus, Neptune, the moon, and the sun all conjunct each other. That promises a beautiful new beginning. But we have got to get over what everybody else expects. Okay? Now, I'm going to throw up, don't want to say that word. It didn't sound right. I'm going to throw out a new term to you. It's called a sesquiquadrate. Okay? And it is going on between Pluto and Mars at this new moon. And that's 135 degrees. And pretty much, with that happening, you have got a deep transformation that needs to happen with the way you're communicating, your actions, because that is where a limit has been imposed on us by others, okay? Or we might be being creative, and others don't like what we're creating. So they're putting limits on us. So it's an issue that we have to face. How are we communicating with others? How are our thoughts inflecting on our day-to-day life? How are our actions that we're taking imposing these limits because others don't like, you know, what they're seeing at the deepest part of us. So you've got to look at where you can transform and change in order for your ideals to get across better, in order for you to create in a better way that allows you to have the day-to-day life that you want. Um, you have to look at what you need to take away, what behavior needs to go away with your actions that are putting limits here, because nobody else is going to change their self. You've got to change you and the limits that are being imposed on you with these limits, because other people are going to say, no, I like where I'm at, okay? And that's just the way it is. That people are stuck on their identity. And the sooner you can adapt to not being stuck with your identity, the sooner you're going to free yourself, okay? No, I'm not telling you to change for other people, okay? I'm telling you to change for yourself, because if you're stuck in your identity and the things of where you're at right now, you like the way things are, then you're not going to change to get further, to get, if you want a more stable life, you're not going to get there by staying the same. You have to change. And again, with that Jupiter semi-squaring that Venus, Neptune, Sun, Moon, he's expanding the issues in that new moon. It can be in a good way, it can be in a good way, but it's asking you to change because you're tired of being stuck under somebody's thumb. Pisces, this is a Pisces new moon. Pisces represents the 12th house natally. That's who we are at our deepest psyche, okay? And something has to end in order for you to have that new beginning, okay? There's something that you want to materialize. And in order to materialize, you've got to change yourself. Well, and whatever you do, don't get stuck with your identity, because identity is the ego. And, if you ask me, ego is a nasty word unless you do the work in order to remove your ego. Because you don't want to have an ego and you don't want to be over emotional, because when you're either one of those, your life is in disarray. But if you use the two together to mesh together, then you know that things are going to be moving in a positive direction. But if you don't want to be continually stuck under somebody else's way of doing things, you've got to change yourself at the deepest level. Now, I am using the Moonology cards for this new moon. So let's shuffle. Yep, totally, it's a cardinal moon, okay? Cardinal says it's time for change. Make the move, be bold, make those moves that you need to make in order to have that change that you want to have. This is is a cardinal moon, as you see. And with a cardinal moon, cardinal signs are Aries. They're beginnings, okay? Because you've got Aries, you've got, trying to think of all the cardinal signs. Okay, the beginning of Aries. Then we've got, because that's the beginning of spring. Then I'm trying to think. Cancer, the beginning of summer. Okay, Libra, the beginning of fall. And then Capricorn, the beginning of winter. You have to look at those. There's the beginning of something in your life that you want to create, and you're going to have to make that move in order to make it. But you've got to be willing to leave behind behaviors that you've had in the past that are no longer working for you. You have to, cardinal moon, trying to think here, it's all about leaving behind unconscious behaviors in order to move in to the conscious. You just need to remember that that new start is coming, but you have got to do what is right for you. And that means, you've got to have that new beginning, but leave behind behaviors that are no longer working for you. Now, all I can say is I hope that you have a great new moon, and I also hope that you have many blessings with this new moon, because it's your new beginning. How do you want to use that new beginning? I love you, and I will see you next month. And remember, leave behind the behaviors that aren't serving you in order to create that beginning that you want. You know what you want. You don't want to be under somebody else's thumb. Well, take the actions that you need to take so that you are no longer in that position. I love you, and have a great new moon. Bye.